everyone, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 5 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, after the bit of a kick in the teeth in the last episode, in those last few minutes of the match against Dover, where they came back from 2-0 down to get a 2-2 draw, we've actually done pretty well in January. It's been pretty good since then. And today we get to play Halifax, and we're sitting in 6th position. So you can see that January's been kind to us. Couple of draws, lots of good wins in there. And you'll never guess who we signed. So yeah, we didn't sign anyone. That's the simple answer. I tried so hard. I had about 2 or 3 really good players that I had potentially coming in on loan, especially in that right full-back position. I had a couple of really key people I was trying to get in, and it just didn't work. I could not get it past the line. Either the club were causing problems or the player themselves were causing problems. I was looking at League One, lower championship level type players to bring in on loan, and I just couldn't get any. And below that, there just weren't any good ones to get. So unfortunately, I failed miserably in my task to improve the squad in the January window. But actually, as things stand in this particular season, I don't think we really need to worry about that too much. We are performing well above expectations, still sitting in those playoff positions in 6th position. Finances are not great, but I'm sure our financial backer will pump a load of money in the summer maybe. But we're not running in a very good way at the moment. The amount of money that we're spending out on wages isn't matched by the income of the gate receipts. The gate receipts are going up. There's some good attendances, pretty much. 1,265 people in terms of our average attendance, but it's still 4th worst in the division. So we need to boost that a little bit, but it's just not quite enough to cope with the amount of finances we're spending on wages at the moment. But that's just the way it is. But yeah, let's go and check out January's results, because actually they were pretty decent. So yes, after the Dover result, which was such an unfortunate one, wasn't it? Those late goals, giving away a penalty. Oh, it was so frustrating, wasn't it, really? And then ultimately that last minute winner was a real kick in the teeth. But anyway, we move on from there, and we did move on really well. You can see that we went through in another round of the Build Base FA Trophy. So we're now currently in the 5th round of that against St Albans coming up in early February. But other than that, full of Vanarama National League matches. We drew a couple, 1-3, is that? Something like that. And actually, that did us the world of good in terms of just, as I say, cementing a place in that top 7 for a playoff position is what I'm currently aiming for. Got a little bit of a gap opening up, but the teams directly below us do have a game in hand over us, so we're not there yet. And there's a bucket load of games still left to play, because it's such a big division with 23 sides in it. It means that we play 44 games or whatever it is this season, and that's a lot of games still to go. So we're only at the halfway point, but we are performing fantastically well, considering we were previewed to finish in about 18th position. But today is all about Halifax. Let's just go back to the league actually and find out where they sit, and they're sitting right down in 17th position. So shortly today we need to be getting those 3 points and just keeping a fairly decent run of form going. It has been good. A couple of draws in there, but that's okay at this level where we currently are. So Halifax, 17th position. Can we get the 3 points? Let's hope so. So we have been rotating the squad quite well recently and giving lots of people some game time. So that's been positive. In general terms, we've only got the one injury issue, and that's still with Knowles. He's just almost back. He can play for about 75 minutes if we wanted him to. I think this is a game too early, though. For me, personally, I'm going to let him sit out this one and bring him in the next game in the cup match, probably just to give him some minutes there, and then build him up through February back into the first team. So other than that, pretty much everybody's fit. So so it means that I can just make a few choices. And again, what I've done is gone for Watts in that attacking midfield role rather than Harvey. Harvey's doing great. He's doing fine for us this season, 7 average rating. But the last couple of games, he got a 6.5 in the last outing. And with Watts doing pretty well when he's come in, it's worth just rotating here and there and keeping them both playing a bit. Similarly, with the role of the striker, Andrew Neil is on the bench. We have been playing Horsewood a little bit, but you can see by his average rating, actually he hasn't been doing particularly well, which is unfortunate, because I do think that there's a reasonable player at this level in here, but he's just not quite showing it, really. He's played a couple of games for us recently and just not quite managed it. So he's out of the squad. Andrew Neil on the bench, and we've got Charlie Ball up top, who is scoring bucket loads for us. 17 in 15 starts and 10 substitute appearances. He's doing fantastically well, so he'll have a place today. Other than that, it's pretty much the starting lineup that we've been used to recently. So for the game against Halifax, he's hoping we can get the points. Roberts in goal, Morgan at right back, Rounsfell at left back, Kazoo and Doyle in central defence, Early, Mundell and Watts in central midfield, McKenna on the right, Salam on the left, and Ball up top with a bench of Stavrou, Jones, Silla, Duke McKenna and Neil. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I think I can be quite forceful with the players today. We're at home, which is a positive. We're against a low-level side in terms of where the leagues place us at the moment. So I've gone with favourites for a reason. Go out there and make sure there's no doubt as to why that is. And let's see if we can put on a good performance, really. There's no reason why not. We've been in good form. We've been scoring some good goals. And so it's just about, again, going out on the pitch and dominating a game where we should be dominating it and putting our chances away when we get them. So let's see if we can create 1 or 2 in this first half. So far, first 20 minutes, quite quiet, really. Only a couple of shots at goal, really, throughout the entire first half an hour. And now here's not an early chance, a half-hour chance for Halifax. But we defend really well. Kazoo gets it out. And it was, what's his name? McKenna that was on the ball briefly. And we get it up onto this left-hand side through Salam. And there's McKenna again, through on goal this time. And it's partially blocked, but he gets the rebound. And he takes his time to try and get the cross back in. Doesn't quite manage it, but he did really well to start the move and then be there at the end, and we get a corner kick from it, which Morgan will take to this near post, and it's rebounded back out again for Morgan to pick it up, and then the highlight doesn't quite make it for another attempt at goal. At least we had a little bit of a sighter there for a minute, but the first half is going to pass pretty much without major incident, it looks like. And indeed it does. Really disappointing, really, at home. Really needing a good performance to keep a good run going. And it hasn't quite worked so far. So we're going to go into the dressing room and tell them that we're a little bit disappointed. I'm going to point the finger and say I'm not happy with the performance. That's motivated quite a few, which is good. And as soon as we go back out, we go into the shouts and we fire up the team to see if we can get going in this second half. And I think we're going to move into a more attacking mentality as well for this second half, because there's nothing about what Halifax did in the first half so far that's really demonstrated that we need to be too worried about them. And there's still not a lot happening, is there? But here's a chance. McKenna again down the right-hand side, gets past his defender really well, drives at the edge of the box, into the box, cuts it back to Mundell, and then a strike at goal was a good one, but at a decent height for the keeper, and he manages to save it. Rounsfell wins the header in the fullback position into Mundell, and then we work it down the left-hand side for Salam, cuts in, and then crosses it across to McKenna into the... he hit the post. And at least the chances are beginning to come, but so far they've been unfortunate. And here's an opportunity for Halifax. It's off the crossbar and then into the hands of a very, very grateful Roberts. We're going to pause the game there and make a couple of personnel changes, see if we can up the tempo for the last little section of the game. What have we got going on? So unfortunately, Watts, who I bought in for an underperforming Harvey, is underperforming himself. And so is Charlie Ball, and that's really, really disappointing, because normally they do really well, those two, when they're playing together. But you can see right the way across the team, actually, There's a lot of problems today. So first off, ball comes out, Neil goes in. Then what are we going to do in this attacking midfield area? Because I feel we need to do something. Difficult, but I think we're going to leave Watts in, and we're going to, having watched him create a couple of chances and not put them away, we're going to take McKenna out and put Duke McKenna in on that right-hand side. And then we can either make a defensive change, maybe bring on a replacement for Rounsfell, who's not doing fantastic, but then neither of our central midfielders are as well. So we're going to bring Silla in for early, and those are the changes we're going to make. We are now in the attacking setup. So we're going to go back into the game, and then we're going to go into the shouts and demand more from everyone, and hope that in the last 15 minutes we can actually create that key chance that's going to get us an opportunity at goal. But it's again Halifax in with a good cross in that sort of channel between the defenders and the goal, but the goalkeeper read it pretty well and comes out and claims it, and then sends it long, but too long for Neil, and almost we got caught out down this right hand side for Halifax, our left, but it didn't quite work out for them. It's back at the goalkeeper, and they've gone down the other side, their left-hand side. And so it's Morgan in that right fullback position, does fantastically well. And then Duke McKenna over the top for Neil. Come on, Neil, show Ball how to do it. And he does show Charlie Ball how to do it on this occasion. When you are not playing well in this team, we have backup. And that is a really big positive from the last couple of seasons, where we've had a fantastic starting 11 and a little bit of an iffy sort of second 11. On this occasion, in some key areas, we've got some really good rotation options. And again, Andrew Neil comes in and demonstrates that he is still a goal-scoring machine, even at this level. And he and Charlie Ball collectively are really propelling us to that promotion playoff spot. 90th minute, so we're almost there. Are we going to hold on this time round and not let another sucker punch goal in like last episode? They almost cleared it and I was worried, but we get the ball back. Duke McKenna has a shot and it goes high and wide a little bit, but overall not too bad an effort. But the highlights continuing. Oh no. Please don't mess me up again on another episode. But we get the ball back into a danger zone and they have to boot it clear. So it's a throw in down the right hand side. And then the final whistle goes and we do get the win today. And they don't come back and cause us a problem. For a second, I thought we were in trouble there. But there we go. A 1-0 win. Actually, if I'm totally honest, it was a bit of a drab game. So let's see what we can learn from it if we analyse the performance. So, first off, whilst I called it a drab game, there were opportunities for us. We did have a couple of decent chances, I guess, but it was a very close game. 7 shots each, 4 on target for us, 2 on target for them. XG ratings really not very good. 0.89 for us, 0.3 for them. Pretty much 50-50 possession. The passing completion was pretty much identical as well. So you can see it was a really even game, which is kind of a little bit disappointing when we're up in 6th and they're down in 17th and we're at home. You'd hope that we would dominate that game a little bit more than we did, but we didn't. So you just have to go and roll with the punches, really. As we've seen, 7 chances for each, all in the penalty area pretty much. We got some good chances, but for us, again, we're a little bit wide on a couple of them, which is unfortunate. And we didn't quite make enough of them count in terms of properly getting them on target. The heat map and the average ratings show that we were pretty much how we usually are, fairly compact, a reasonable amount of passing down the left-hand side for Salam to run onto and Rounsfell to get involved in. We had a good amount of central midfield action zone possession of the ball, which is decent, but we didn't quite make it work for us. And it was Andrew Neil that came in that second half, got the goal and took the man of the match award, basically. So if we go and look in on our shots, and we'll just take out Halifax and look at our own. Here's our goal. from Neil, just outside the 6-yard box. A decent effort from him, dinked it over the top of the goalkeeper, which is always very lovely to see. We had a couple off target, one wide from Ben McKenna, and then Stephen Duke McKenna with the other one high and wide on that occasion. So there's a couple of attempts there that could have been better. We hit the woodwork, which was really unlucky, down this right-hand side from McKenna. And then we had 3 that were saved by the goalkeeper, all into this bottom corner, it looked like. So he did well to keep those out. So all in all, it wasn't a vintage shooting display, was it really? So let's go and check out how our passing did in the completion ones. Still makes me giggle every time. Intercepted though. These ones are fine because we're clearing the lines. And so there weren't actually that many today, were there? That's pretty decent. There's maybe 3 here that you'd hope that we would have done something more with. A couple of blocked passes, but that's okay. Not many more than that. Unsuccessful passes, again, we take out most of the throw-in ones because we're doing the long throw and they don't work very often. We take out a bunch at the back here, but there's a whole load in this midfield. I think it might be time just to think about a slight change in how we're passing the ball through our side a little bit. I think we're doing very well this season, and maybe we can afford to put it on the floor a little bit more than we have been and see if we can pass it through the side a little bit more than we have, just to see if we can get this a little bit more accurate and maybe make the chances a little bit better for ourselves. Out of play passes today, one very long clearance, not quite sure who Salam was passing to at this point, and a couple trying to get to a guy in the box that didn't quite work out, but not too bad, not too many. Key passes, we had 4, and they were all working to this right-hand side, really, to then get a second ball in or a shot at goal. We did do that occasionally, but not as often as I'd like. So, again, it wasn't a vintage performance, was it, really? And let's just go and see whether we can figure out how well our defensive unit did. So, let's look at interceptions. Interceptions, we did pretty well, didn't we, really? That central midfield and defensive unit has been very solid for a fair amount of this season. Occasionally, we have mad games where we let 3 or 4 goals in, but more often than not, it's not too bad. And today, we worked pretty hard, I would suggest, in keeping them out. No interceptions missed, so that's good. When we were trying for them, we got them. And we also blocked a few shots. I'm not sure that's blocked shot. I'm not quite sure that's totally right, is it? They don't look like places to be shooting from, but anyway, whatever it is, I think maybe it didn't quite show me what I wanted it to. But the defensive display was very, very good. And so we're just looking on the goalkeeper, and he held 3 chances, and that's all that he had to do. So you can see that Halifax didn't really threaten us too much, and that's why they got their 0.3 XG rating, which is not very good for a game at all. So in the end, we won 1-0. It was a decent victory, and that's it, really. So, just to finish off the episode, what we're up to next episode, we're going to play the Solihull Moors game at the end of February. Got me months confused then, and just see where the February takes us. Hopefully we can get through another round of the FA Trophy. I think there's 8 rounds in total if you get to the final, so we've still got a little way to go, but if we can win the 5th round game, that should put us into the quarterfinals, and then it's anybody's really from that point. So hopefully we can continue that cup run. In the meantime though, there's lots of other really quite tricky games to play. Hartlepool and the likes of Leyton Orient are going to be difficult in the Vanarama National League. And by the time we get to Solihull Moors, in another home game, so there's a couple of home games in the back end of February, which is helpful, then hopefully we'll still be in one of those playoff spots. Where are we currently? What did today's performance do for us? Pushed us up into 5th place. And that's really, really positive, isn't it? I couldn't have asked for much more than that, really, for this season. And you can see the likes of Yeovil just sitting outside of the playoffs. We've now got a pretty decent 8-point gap from them. So I think there's a real good chance that we can get into this playoff fight for the end of the season. But as we said at the beginning of the episode, with like 44 games to play or whatever it is, there's still an absolute ton of them still to go. anything can still happen. So we've got to be performing well to get to where we want to be. So a good chunk of games to do that in February. Come back in the next episode. I'll update you on all of that and we'll play the Solihull Moors game. But that's going to do it for today. In the end, we got a decent win, but it wasn't a fantastic performance, was it really? But sometimes you just got to dig them out and get a 1-0 win and take the 3 points. And that's what we did. So thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Lots of ways to get involved in the community these days through Twitter, Discord, Patreon, merchandise store, all the links in the description below. Click the like button on this particular episode for me if you would. That shows me that you're invested in the content and enjoying it, and it also helps me get seen by lots of other people in the YouTube algorithms. So if you could do that, that's great. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.